Today, we're diving into the world of a fascinating figure who connects two seemingly different worlds, science and ancient wisdom. We're talking about the blind Muslim yogi. And this really brings us to a huge, thought-provoking question. Can these ancient practices actually be treated like a modern science, with predictable, repeatable, result-based outcomes? Well, to even begin to answer that, we have to meet the man at the center of this approach. His name is Osman, also known as the blind Muslim yogi. And while he's a yoga and meditation teacher, his main work, his specialty, is as a master bioenergy healer. Now, to really get what he's about, you have to understand the foundation he's built all of this on. We're not talking about some casual weekend hobby here. This is about a lifetime of really deep, dedicated mastery. 50. Just let that sink in for a moment. For 5 decades, that's 50 years. Osman says he has poured his life into the advanced practice of yoga, meditation, and what he calls the science of healing. And this journey, it started incredibly early. In fact, his dedication was so intense that he claims to have reached his first samadhi experience, which is a really profound state of meditative consciousness, at the remarkably young age of just 19. And that intensity, well, it apparently never stopped. He says that at certain points in his life, his practice would go for up to 18 hours a day. Even now, he maintains a minimum of 8 to 10 hours of practice every single day. As he puts it, he's constantly sharpening the sword. So what does that kind of lifelong dedication get you? Well, according to him, it translates into a really unique and powerful skill set. He describes himself as a master-level bioenergy healer who even has a telepathic healing capability. He says he uses principles of quantum entanglement, and his main focus is on helping people with critical care recovery and even terminal illnesses. All of this comes from his in-depth studies of Far Eastern, Middle Eastern, and Western schools of thought, which he's blended into what he calls a scientific, result-based approach. Okay, so you might be wondering, what's the point of all this intense practice? What's really driving him? Well, it all boils down to what he calls his life's mission. In his own words, his mission is to encourage as many people into a scientific, results-based, and simplified methodology from the ancient yoga and meditation sciences. He spent his life trying to take these incredibly complex protocols and simplify them to revive what he sees as a lost science that could totally benefit our modern world. All right, let's get practical. How does this scientific approach actually look in practice? Let's take something a lot of people have heard of, but maybe don't fully get, the science of mantra. So from his scientific point of view, what is a mantra? Forget just thinking of it as a positive affirmation. In his framework, it's a very specific group of sounds that creates a distinct energetic frequency. The whole thing is engineered, it's designed to produce a measurable result in your mind, in your goals, or even in your physical environment. But that leads to a really big question, right? If these sound formulas are supposedly so potent, why do they fail for the vast majority of people who try them? Why don't most of us see those incredible results we hear about? According to Osman, the answer is in the massive gap between how it's commonly practiced and how it's effectively practiced. He argues that just reciting some words from a book won't cut it. True success, in his view, needs an initiation from a qualified source. It needs intense discipline and consistency, and it requires the right technique to access what he calls quantum levels of the mind and awaken a higher frequency capacity that's dormant in most of us. So here's the bottom line, the big takeaway from all this. Effective mantra practice isn't some casual hobby. It's a high-performance skill. It's about building the capacity to operate beyond our normal state of mind. It's about transcending our usual human capacity to function at a quantum level. So, if this has sparked your curiosity and you're thinking you want to dive deeper into these ideas, he's laid out a few different paths you can take to learn more about his work. He provides a ton of stuff for free. You can find in-depth techniques on his YouTube channel, and he has a podcast too. Both are just called The Blind Muslim Yogi. Now, for those who want to go even farther, he does offer premium services, things like live lessons and consultations on his Patreon. And then there's his bioenergy healing work, which is a premium service for very critical conditions. Now, this is super important, and he's very clear about this. His services are meant to be complementary. They are absolutely not a replacement for treatment from a qualified, licensed medical doctor. The idea is that they work alongside conventional medicine to enhance it. So, for everything we've talked about, from the free content to information on consultations and his premium services, the one central place you need to go is his website, yogawellness786.com. And hey, if you want to keep up with his unique approach and continue learning, make sure you search for The Blind Muslim Yogi on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and hit that follow button to continue your journey.